in a lot of different ways. But again, this goes back to the Niedermeyer overgeneralization of what all single
No,
thinking Tesla owners have, and
no,
this is absolutely inaccurate. The
no.
vast majority of Tesla owners aren't the vocal ones that you see online that are making the statements that you're talking about. The vast majority of us support electrification of vehicles in all different forms. And if it's a vehicle that suits your needs, hallelujah, buy it, jump on it. I will pat you on the back. I'll ask you to show me your car, and I'll be glad to talk about it. And the vast majority of us are that way. Are we all proud of our vehicles? Sure. Were you proud of a Prius when you owned one? Absolutely. Was it the best car on the road? Fuck no. But you know what? It was yours, and you loved it for what it was for you. And I love my Teslas for what they are for me, but I don't denigrate people that choose something else. Now, if you have needs for driving longer distances, if you routinely drive over 100 miles on your weekends to get to your lake house, you know what? Probably the Leaf ain't going to work for you. But and the Tesla's a better vehicle for that. So it's just a bullshit overgeneralization, Russell. And most people don't think that way. Yes, you can get online and you can go find me a sample of somebody that said that. But that's an anecdote, and it isn't representative of the Tesla community at large.
And to get back to what the article is saying, if all of these people take the flipping scooters, think about how many less cars are on the road, how much less traffic you're going to be dealing with. I mean, and look at the buses in all these cities. They when they step on the accelerator, if it's not one of the natural gas, hydrogen, electric, whatever, there's a big puff of black smoke because they haven't done maintenance in 20 years on these vehicles. I mean, yes, it's better than 20 cars, but still, it's not that great. So if they're on a scooter or a bicycle or walking, come on, guys, it's awesome.
So I have to respond to Evan.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, I just had to get that out there.
And while I agree, and again, I think I worded this very carefully. I didn't say all Tesla owners.
No, you didn't.
I don't think I said most. I think I said many. Yes. And I'm going to tell you, Evan, that you have not correctly appraised the level of the problem. I'm in, and maybe you are too. So we'll find out. But I'm in most electric vehicle clubs or groups, unlike Facebook, for instance. I'm following a whole bunch of people on Twitter that are this. And there's not a day that goes by in the Nissan Leaf owners group when a Tesla owner doesn't come in there and take a big shit in the middle of a thread.
That's called a troll, Russell. Let me educate you about the internet. And guess what? Trolls show up in all different kinds of forums to lay great big turds like that.
They showed up in our forum on our show.
If you go to the Tesla forums, generally, if somebody makes a comment like that, denigrating another vehicle, they're pretty often shouted down by the rest of us who say that's not true. And you'll see that same thing with the Taycan stuff that came out. A lot of the initial stuff was, look at this, it's slower than, you know what? And then a lot of other people stepped in and look, this is a good thing for EVs. This is a good thing for everybody. And cooler heads prevail. And there are all kinds of examples of trollish bullshit like that. Absolutely. Pick your forum, pick your car. It shows up everywhere. But that is not representative of Tesla owners at large.
Look at how many times I've said the rising tide lifts all boats. That's not my phrase. It's true. It's what happens, and it's because that's how the majority are. Paul has muted himself but wants to talk.
Come on, Paul.
I feel like I'm just enjoying the.
Just watching the show.
But I agree with Evan. I mean,
shut up, Paul.
All right, shut me down.
There are. Every forum has their shitheads, and I think most Tesla people, they might think they're cooler because they have a Tesla, but they probably think any EV on the road is cooler than any gas car and support it, like Evan said. So,
but there's going to rant some more.
Well, but there's always going to be the 2 or 3% that are the most vocal, and that's what everybody hears. So.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's what you focus on, because and it's not fair.
You get people out there who think that everybody should be driving a brand new Tesla.
And sometimes it goes the other way. I mean, I some of you may know I sold Evan's old Model S in Colorado for him, and I sold it to a customer that previously had a Prius and went to a Leaf and then went to a Tesla. So it's a very great migration, and as their needs change and their money situation changed, they upgraded. So nothing wrong with that.
And a lot of American families have more than one car, like at least two. And so you have your car that you commute in, and then you have the car that you can do the road trips in, or that other random once-a-year trip that can haul from Home Depot and then go from Maine to California with the boat. So
and you can rent a car if you need it for
that's
a
the
week.
better option right there, is to rent a car. Yeah. Get something that solves your needs most of the time, and then rent something else otherwise.
But if you have to rent,
or the people that drive the F-250 to work because they've got to tow their boat to the lake twice a year.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
Yeah. But if you have to rent twice a month, then you probably chose the wrong vehicle, right? And for me, that would be my situation. So, but if that's not somebody else's situation, I'm not going to denigrate them for that choice. Mm-hmm. And I don't think anybody would. Or somebody would. All right, you're right. There's always going to be somebody, but it ain't going to be me.
I think we can argue the percentage of people that are involved in this kind of behavior that all of us don't like, okay? That we all reject. But I also want you to consider the impact that it has, that it has an outsized impact. And I get it. Trolls are everywhere and trolls do horrible things, but I've never seen someone with a Leaf in a Tesla forum talking trash about idiots who paid too much for Elon's folly.
I've seen a few, but you're right.
Oh, come on.
It's a lot less frequent.
but you know why?
I've seen that too, Russell. It's not as much, but I've seen those comments.
But it's rare because when you do the math, what you get dollar for dollar isn't really comparable. If you can afford that extra $5-10 grand for a Tesla, you're getting a hell of a lot more car than you're getting out of the Leaf. And so that's why you don't really see that. It's hard to denigrate that because on a dollar for dollar. But at the same time, if somebody can only afford $15,000 used Leaf, that's what they can afford. Power to them. Take that. And if it meets their needs, that's fantastic.
That's like if you some of us here have children in college. You put them in that, they're not getting in any trouble because they can't get anywhere. Not saying that you can't travel, but again, as I said, it's a good second car.
I got nothing else.
Rather than the primary vehicle, and you rent it like there's people who live in nice urban areas where they never have to go that far, and then that 1 or 2 trips a year, they rent something.
I've actually used that as a sales pitch selling used Leafs. I say to the parents, your teenager drives a Leaf, they can only go so far. They're not going to tell you they're going to their friend's house a mile away and go to Vail and party.
You'll see that swiper on the fast charger. What are you doing at the fast charger three towns over, son?
Our next story.
I was gonna say, is that it for the story? Because we went.
I heard I surrender. Those are the words I heard right there.
I had my say. Evan, is there something else you'd like to say?
No, man. I just like poking at you.
Okay.
And it's a great night to do it.
Exactly. Our next story goes to one of our old What Drives Us favorite companies that Tony's going to talk about.
Yeah, so this was a I forgot who it was, and my my huge apologies, because it was it JT24?
Yes, I think it was JT24.
I think it was JT24, who said enjoyed last week's show. Too bad you didn't say anything about Aptera, because at the end of August, Aptera made a big splash that they're back. They are they're going to introduce a new and improved Aptera vehicle. Apparently, they're relaunching, and a lot of the original staff, if you want to call it, a lot of the original backers, a lot of the original people are back and working to get the Aptera up and off the ground. So why don't we talk more about Aptera? Well, in a word, yeah, we just don't want to.
I want to, but what is there to say right now? Last time we talked about it, we talked about how much less attractive it looks now. And we talked about, how if it's not
And
the
how
right
likely you're to
vehicle.
die if you get hit in one of
I
them.
don't believe that. But yes, we did talk about that as well.
How it will never meet U.S. crash standards, no matter what.
I don't believe that, but
you don't have to. But
I think that they will find a way. But we talked about how it's not the right car for today anymore because there are, it costs more than the Tesla Model 3 Standard Plus, and you can only fit two. It's got 3 wheels, and some jurisdictions you'll have to wear a helmet even inside the car.
Yeah.
And the batteries, the new battery is going to be way larger than the old battery ever would have been, and if it comes out and it's anywhere near what they originally promised the first time around, I would probably still try to find a way to get myself into one of these because it looks cool as hell.
But okay, I see those front 2 wheels a foot out from the chassis, and I just think
this vehicle is wider than the Model S and longer than the Model S.
But and I see those front wheels, and I think if you even bump the curb when you're parking,
your alignment's
those
done.
things scare me. They scare the crap
was that a
out
huge
of
problem with the Plymouth Prowler? Did they bump?
Yeah, but
I didn't buy one of those either.
So anything with 2 or 3 wheels is a motorcycle. It has no safety standards, no crash standards.
None are required.
If you get hit by an Escalade, you are dead. I mean, there's nothing's going to save you. So if you like living on the edge, go for it. But for the same price, you could get a real car with
exactly. So if they bring the price down to the same level as to what it would have been back in the day, and
$69.95.
No, not that. They were talking about 35 back then, but if it feels like 35, but without actually costing the same as a base Tesla, and they do what they said, and they exceed the crash standards that are required for 4-wheeler.
So what's the other 3-wheeled thing? Those Can-Am?
The Elio.
No, the gas Can-Am.
Arcimoto. The Can-Am Spider.
Yeah.
And the Scorpio.
So they'll sell 12 of them or something, and
this is okay. I'm sorry.
Let's face it. This car's era has left it behind. We are beyond the funny-looking car.
Yeah,
we're beyond it.
Yeah, whoever ran them out of business.
Beginning, back in 2010, it was still something that could come out.
Yeah.
But now the competition has left it behind.
Right.
This thing's a dinosaur, and it just doesn't know it.
If whoever ran the company out of business before, I think it was
the same 2 people who started it again.
No. I thought the other guy was the one who screwed it up.
It's the same 2 people.
But who did they fool into giving them money?
Okay, but either way, if they hadn't gone out of business the first time, then this thing might still be viable, and it would be on generation 3 or 4 just like the Teslas. But
no, it wouldn't.
No way.
No.
If it had sold,
So this article on Clean Technica starts off with a sentence: Aptera is the name for a bird without wings.
Right. And
where it should have gone from there was, and like an Aptera, this product has no chance of taking off.
So I mean, I still have a place in my heart for it, but like we're all saying,
that's fine.
It's not the vehicle for today. So
it's a scam.
I hope they're not scamming.
I'm not going to say it's a scam.
Unless version 2.0 will actually take off and fly, then it would be cool.
No, I don't want the people I commute with flying. I've seen them drive.
That's exactly the word I was about to use. It's a niche thing. If somehow they build it and somebody just wants a funny looking thing that they can drive around and show off, then it's cute. But there's no way this thing's going to get 1,000 miles. The way it's, at least the way it's currently displayed and structured on there, it's. I mean,
and there's no way they're going to get 1,000 orders.
Right. These pictures. I mean, this is first year graphics student CAD drawings. I mean, these are.
Well, this is what I said when they brought this back out: is that it looks worse than the prototypes did. The prototypes were much more beautiful.
Yeah.
Even with these renders, I don't see where they're going to be fitting. What are they? 100 kilowatt?
Yeah, no way.
How do you got something that small and supposedly that light?
It's not small.
100 kilowatt?
It's huge.
It's
okay,
big.
that's true.
Yeah, that's true.
It's bigger than a Model S. It might be the size of Model X.
That's mostly because of those big
So for the record, viewers and listeners, I reached out to Aptera to either have a conversation with them off the show or to have somebody on the show. And as of this Wednesday, as of right now, they have not responded. So busy are they building these things,
taking orders.
And you know what? I would like to think that we would welcome them on the show.
Absolutely.
In good faith and hear exactly everything they have to say.
I would love to hear what changed.
I honestly would love someone to change my mind about this car. But as it stands right now, I don't see this thing having a chance.
I was to the point of putting money down on the first one before they went out of business. Like, just like when I went to go put money down on the Tesla Model S40. It went out of business before I could put the money down. So much better than the situation that happened with Tesla, where unfortunately I didn't get my Model S40, but thankfully I didn't lose my deposit on an Aptera.
Here's my problem. Aside from the practical considerations, these are the same two people that ran Aptera into the ground before, that made a lot of promises, but never managed to make a vehicle. And here they are again with a new take on it. Rather than being the most efficient gas vehicle in the world, this is going to be the most efficient battery operated vehicle in the world. And it's the same design. Nothing has changed except they've gone to batteries, and now
they went to batteries last time too.
It started as gas.
Then they went hybrid. Then they dropped the gas because of the emissions, and they went electric. And then they went out of business.
There's no vision here other than we're going to do. We love this shape, and no matter what, we're going to get suckers. I mean, investors to pony up on Indiegogo or crowdfunding, whatever it is they're doing, to raise money to try and build another prototype. And then in a couple of years, they'll throw in the towel and go, "Oh, we just couldn't do it."
So two things with this. Where are the original prototypes? And what did they say they're going to do? Well, because the original prototypes, they won races, they actually performed well, and then they keep saying how they're going to exceed the requirements for the four-wheel cars. The crash standards have come up exponentially since 2007, 2010. So for them to exceed the four-wheel cars, they would have had to have re-engineered the vehicle to be able to meet the four-wheel crash standards for today for that car. And like Paul said, yeah, they don't have to because it's a motorcycle, but if this is part of their thing is safety and fuel efficiency, what have they done from 2007, 2010 to meet today's standards, which are now
but to put all that stuff in the car, to make it as safe as a four-wheel car, it's going to add hundreds and hundreds of pounds of weight and tons of engineering complications, and it's not going to happen.
At the time, they were trying to go with the smart approach, like not smart like intelligent, but smart like the brand, and they were going with the roll cage, tritium cell type stuff. Obviously, whatever wasn't already patented to Daimler. I don't know if that will cut it today, because everybody here's pointed out, they've got the Plymouth Prowler wheels, and they were actually at the time they were Honda Insight tires, just hanging on the outside there. And
I think at this point, Casey, you're the only person who seems concerned about this. Like, we have written this off. I know where you're coming from. These are good questions to ask, but like, I stopped caring. Did you know that the Cubs and the Reds are tied in the sixth inning?
I understand. You're saying words at me. So, on that same vein, is the Elio, is it still coming out, or any of the other cars that were coming out at the same time as this?
Arcimoto?
The Arcimoto's actually got some stuff out.
Oh, it does not. They still are not in production. They're still taking deposits.
Oh, never mind.
Allegedly, they delivered a few dozen. I don't remember what
the neighborhood vehicles, right?
The Six Sun. They delivered a few that were edition. That were like 3.5 times cost what they were originally going to do.
Didn't realize that. Yeah.
Arcimoto's another one. I'm tired of waiting. Arcimoto's been 12 years now, and they still haven't produced a vehicle.
And then Elio, what's up with the Elio?
No one cares.
Well, I mean, if they can meet that $8,000 price point, that's still pretty good. That's the used car price for a new car.
Dude,
nobody can.
You can buy a used Leaf for $8,000. That's a real car.
Yeah, right. And is electric instead of gas, with emissions controls and safety.
Yeah, I just that's the problem is they all, it's wonderful to have dreams, and that's sometimes how we advance the state of the art, right? Somebody has this wild dream. Oh, look at this Corbin Sparrow. It's amazing. It's 3 wheels. It's da-da-da. And then it just doesn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't work
Unless
out.
you're Austin Powers.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't work out again for you.
And then, right. And then you do the Edison thing and say, I tried 10,000 things that didn't work to find the one that did. But you've got to be willing to write off the things that don't work. You've got to be willing to just let it go and move on.
And I guess that's the hard part. I mean, I don't think we're setting ourselves up as judge and jury here, but we've all been kind of had our fingers in this alt car world for a long time. And again, you know what? If this was a brand new undertaking and there was no Aptera, there was no, advanced composites before,
Mm-hmm.
I would have a completely different spin on this. But it's the same people. It's the same design, and they've tweaked a few things, and they're trying to sponge up money from people to maybe build some more prototypes.
That was the part that left a bad taste in my mouth, was how they came in looking for investors rather than saying, hey, we've been working these last 10 years behind the scenes. We finally got our shit together, and now we're going to go ahead and relaunch this thing. We're not going to take your deposits because last time that worked so well. And we've got these prototypes now, and when they finally pass crash certification and we've got a place to put them together, oh, by the way, they're going to come out next year, that would have been a much better first impression, second first impression than the way that they came out this time.
Would have been great.
Yeah.
Would have been.
Tony, it's your story. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I said, but they didn't. Tony, it's your story.
It's my story, and like at Aptera, it's not going to get any wind.
There you go. Very nice. Well, our next story is all about Tesla.
Yes. Yes, it is. Let me give this one to Mark.
That was me being positive. Come on. Encourage me.
That was your best effort at being positive.
I've stated facts. That's me being positive. I'm stating facts now.
And we're running short on time, but I do want to just mention this because I don't get enough chances to slap at Tesla on the show. So what I'm going to do is ask Casey to, as quickly and succinctly as possible, because he did this on the Tesla Life, talk about the V10 software that is about to be released. It is being released now. Is it just new adopters? Where are we at, Casey?
If you are a purchaser of full self-drive this week, supposedly, you'll get the update to version 10. Depending on the hardware in your car, you might get advanced summon, you might not. You get Netflix, karaoke, some updates to the user interface, some updates to the way that the auto lane change occurs, and
Joe mode.
Joe mode, yes. And if you bought into the full self-drive package, you might get it. If you bought in full price of the full self-drive package and paid extra money for the car, they'd probably give you a big old screw you. Yeah. And eventually it'll yeah, I got one of them. Eventually
That's the official Tesla screw right there.
There you go. Hey, Casey, here's how we feel about you. Thanks.
So eventually, this happens all the time. Eventually, the update will make its way through all the layers, and we'll forget that they were late. Well, we won't forget that they were late, but the sting will be gone because we'll actually be enjoying it. Some folks in the existing early access program have continued to be able to do the enhanced summon. That's the new name for it. And of those people who weren't in that program, only so far 3.0 people have been spotted rocking the enhanced summon. But Elon has tweeted this evening that it's still coming to Autopilot 2.0 and 2.5 before you get your hardware upgrade. And if you paid up, you will be getting your hardware upgrade.
So my rant on this was that this is not what Tesla's promised, which is nothing new for Tesla. And that's not even an insult. That's just the way it is. And that there's a lot of fun games and a lot of fun doodads, but not a lot of the functionality that a lot of people like Casey paid cash for.
Real cash.
Not a lot of the things that Tesla owners were expecting. And I think that's a disappointment. As I mentioned in the Tesla Life, it dovetails back to comments that I've had before, and that it's great that Tesla can do all the fun stuff. I mean, who doesn't love fart mode, right? Yay.
It's funny.
Yay, fart
twice.
mode's
It is
funny.
funny.
I spent 6 figures on a car so I could have fart mode.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
But I at some point, somebody has to, in my opinion, call Tesla to the ground and go, you know what, deliver.
Yeah. And my point to that was
upgrade the software, make it work.
Yeah, and my point to that was I don't want the guy who made fart mode to handle my full self-drive or the ludicrous mode or anything like that. But I gave the concession that in this mode or in this upgrade there are it shows that they are listening to the customers. It just doesn't show that they are listening the way we want them to. Like, it's got Joe mode. That only came about because somebody said, "Hey, Elon, this thing keeps waking up my babies when it screams. Hey, there's a bush over on the right. Hey,
but that's
watch out for the
more
bull."
trivial bullshit. I get
it.
It
is a build. It is a build thing. They've got teams that are building the product. Different teams are finishing and putting product out, and other teams are behind the 8 ball. There are teams that haven't got fixed or finished the parts that they need to get. So Tesla, of course, is releasing what they have available. That's the bottom line here. And it's not like the guy that's running fart mode is supposed to be finishing up full self-driving.
That's a straw man. I'm not saying
no. I was not saying it's a straw man either, because in this update they had the new lane change visualization and the new lane change behavior. The way that it changed. Well, the visualization tells you what the car is doing. If your hands are off the wheel and it starts doing some crazy shit with the steering and jerking you all over the place, that ain't good. And, unless you know what it's doing. And then they also changed the smoothness of the lane changes. There are now different lane changes in addition to the one it already had. It now has, like, let's call it 8 different lane changes. Like, it's got the slow drift over, it's got the cutting somebody off, and it's got the original robotic weird L-shaped thing. They're working on it, but it would be nice if they could show us more faster.
Different teams are working on different projects, and the teams that Evan and Casey and others that have paid for the full self-driving would really like to come out, they're behind, and they've been behind for some time. That's the problem.
But as long as
if you're watching the show and you are the fart team leader, please let us know. We'd love to have you on the show so that you can tell us what
your
it's
team
like
is so much
to
better
lead
than the other
fart
one.
Team.
I want the Tesla business card that says fart team leader.
Yeah, I know, right?
It probably says something like the chief software happiness advisor.
Do you know what, Russell?
Supervisor.
Do you know what?
What?
Vista.com can make that happen for you for $9.99.
Don't go around impersonating a Tesla employee, current Tesla employee. They are not afraid to be litigious.
Just the word former beside the title.
Wait, hold on. I got to take this real quick. Hold on. Yeah, what? What? No? Are you sure? Elon said? Okay. Yeah. So the lawyer says we're not allowed to impersonate Tesla employees. So
oh, that sucks. Okay, in that case, I'm calling the end of the show. Let's do some shout outs and go home. We have no time for one more thing. We're so over time, but this was a good show. There was some.
Yeah, I liked it.
I like that. I'm going to start with Mr. Casey Green.
Howdy. So, as I mentioned on the Tesla Life, I used the Model X to tow again, and I remembered to hit record on the recorder, and I've got some good stuff coming up for you on youtube.com/Casey Green. That's my YouTube channel. It's KACEYGREEN. All about.
Did you get the auto email from corporate that says your warranty is voided now?
No, because I bought the tow package and I kept it within the limits of the vehicle, even though I pushed them.
Yeah, with that trailer, dude.
Yeah.
Mr. Coughlin.
Shout out to everybody watching the show tonight. Thanks very much. Give us a thumbs up, and please subscribe to the show if you can. We're trying for that 1,000, and we're darn close. Almost there. Almost. And if you haven't already looked,
dog or cat to subscribe.
Go to the National Drive Electric Week website. Look up a event that's happening near you this weekend, and join in the festivities if you can.
Thank you so much for mentioning the National Drive Electric Week thing. That's super important. Do look that up. There'll be some things. This is the last weekend, and do participate if you can. Whether or not you own an electric vehicle, just go and check them out, and look at them and see. Talk to some owners.
And
They're
if
very
anybody
cool
goes
events.
to a place where there's an Aptera, take some pictures, share it with us.
For God,
Oh, especially if you find a new prototype or the old prototype. I'd love to see how the old one held up.
Yeah.
Anywhere. Dr. Fusco.
How do you spell out Terra pre-order?
S-U-C-K-E-R.
I think that
I got
website is
nothing.
dead.
Thanks for joining us tonight, everybody.
It's your humility, Evan. That's what I find so attractive about it. Mr. Guzik.
I got nothing.
What's your special, man? Home. What's new?
BoulderHC.com.
Yeah, go look for yourself. He's got good stuff.
Yeah. Go buy something from him.
Nothing new for sale?
Hey, we don't want him to have to drink Miller Lite again. So, come on.
Paul has a drinking habit to support. So,
God. Why do we make him into an alcoholic all of a sudden? Right?
No, I just have a beer when I'm on the show.
He has one beer a week.
And I don't buy them. People will just bring them here.
Yeah. Look, if
okay, I'll give you some advice. If any of you take your car to a repair shop, bring your mechanic beer. You'll get better service. It's scientifically proven.
There you go. I would not argue with Paul on that. Tony Schaefer, bring us home.
So I want to start with this real quick. And I want to make sure we all understand that no one can ever be free until nerd persecution ends. All right, so also, I want to remind everyone that if you want to read all the news that we're reading, be sure to check us out online. So first of all, we have our Facebook page, facebook.com/whatdrivesus. You can leave us comments, suggest news items, or just like the page, or leave us comments on any of our YouTube videos. We talked about that on the show. We read all the comments. We try to reply to the comments. We really do enjoy engaging with everybody. In fact, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors, Goran and Tony, Luku, Ronan, Zen, George, Reg, Rakesh, Bob, Pete, Moen, and Walter, who I show as our most recent subscribers. Thank you so much for taking the time to hit that subscribe button. We really do appreciate it. And of course, if you use Flipboard as your news aggregator, look for the What Drives Us magazine. Phil Barclay and I put articles out there that meet our interest, that pique our interest, I meant to say, and you can read what we're reading. Also, I want to say that if you are watching the show and you are Donald J. Trump, do not tweet how much you hate the show. Again, do not tweet how much you hate this show. That's it for me.
Trump.
Yeah.
That's my comment on that. Let's see. Huge. As always, I want to thank Michael Mandarin for our theme music. Visit him at manthing.com. I want to implore all of you to please ask your friends, as someone mentioned earlier, ask your dog, ask your cat, whoever's total strangers on the street. Follow us on YouTube. Subscribe. Hit that little bell for notifications, but subscribe. We are at 985. We need just a dozen or more of you to push us over 1,000. So it's been 10 years in the making. We need your help. Please go to youtube.com/whatdrivesus. Subscribe there. Suggest it to your friend. Share it on your Facebook page. Talk about it on Twitter. We need that. We need your support, please. I want to thank everybody here. Big old thing. We ran over on time. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Casey. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Mark. And thank you, Evan. Everybody worked today, right?
Yeah. Yep. Oh, yeah.
So I always feel bad for Paul because he's in the work shirt. But you know what? Everybody worked. So thanks to all of you for coming on and making the show. And, of course, we do it all for you. Thanks to all of you out there who watch and listen every week. Tune in next week and find out what drives us.
I bet you might go fix last week's show to play me on the way out tonight.
Bye-bye now. See you later, everybody.
Go Hawks.
Boop.